Welcome to the American Society of Quality Lean Enterprise Division 2015 webinar series. By listening to our webinar series, you will get the best of the best in the lean industry. Stay tuned to the end of this recording for more details. This month, our speaker is Chad Vincent. Chad is currently an ASQ representative to the Lean Certification Oversight and Appeals Committee, holds several ASQ certifications, and is a senior lead examiner for the Arkansas Governor's Quality Award. Now, let's join Chad as he presents the Lean Bronze Exam. What's new?
Thank you, Paul. Also, as well as all those of you that are in attendance and to the LAD, I thank you for this opportunity to speak with you about the Lean certification and the recent changes in the program, which there have been some. We went through an improvement cycle with the Lean certification program to improve the customer experience and continued success of the Lean certification program. We went through an extensive validation study and that was conducted through a consulting organization utilizing the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. The Lean Certification Alliance, the strategic alliance, the four organizations that comprise the alliance partners, ASQ, SME, AME, and Shingo. They listened to this feedback from you, the customers, and reviewed the results and recommendations from the validation study and took action by implementing these new process improvements that I'll discuss. The first significant improvement that was made was this hierarchical requirements. We're all accustomed to this bronze, silver, and then gold level. Well, the progress originally was you had to take bronze, then move to silver, then progress to gold, and that linkage has been eliminated. So that way, as individuals, you guys can apply and go after the certification that's more applicable to your level of experience, your level of knowledge, and progression within your own personal lean journey. So that was the first significant change that was made and agreed upon by the COA. The next significant change it was in regards to the portfolio requirement. If you remember, at the bronze and silver levels, we had a rather large portfolio of projects that you had to fill out, answer questions. So at the bronze level, we are still keeping the portfolio. The portfolio we fill at bronze, since it's more of a tactical level, your work is generally more project associated, but instead of the 5 project requirement that was before, we've reduced that down to a 3 project submission, and we still keep the personal reflection piece. For the silver and gold certifications, the portfolio has been replaced with a more effective and efficient method of measuring experience and application, and it's more in line with some of the industry standards for certifications out there. The accomplishment record is what it's called now. The accomplishment record is a well-respected technique for examining how candidates have applied their knowledge. The Alliance recognized the importance of having candidates demonstrate their application of knowledge and skills to actual real-world situations. So the accomplishment record format allows candidates to demonstrate their ability to apply lean knowledge, skills, and concepts specific to competencies that come from the body of knowledge. And so gold candidates, the only difference between silver and gold is gold candidates, we still have the interview process that you have to pass in order to achieve the gold level. Now, on the education, training, and development side, the requirements for the hourly requirements have pretty much remained the same. You still have the 80 hours at bronze, the 160 hours at silver, and the 240 hours at gold. Now, if you progress one at a time, going from bronze, silver to gold. You know, when you make that transition to silver, you have your original 80 hours, so you only have to have 80 more credit hours. So the previous certification hours apply to the next level up. So in gold, you just have to prove straight out you have 240 certification credit hours, and then if you're moving and you already have bronze and you're transitioning to silver, you just have to have 80 additional credit hours. If you apply at silver, you have to prove all 60 out. So that's just a minor nuance there, since we have split out those 3 levels and you can apply for them individually. As far as the written exam preparation, there have been no significant, no changes to the books, the reference materials. There's been no changes to the original body of knowledge itself. So as far as the questions, other than the annual review and rotation of questions from a question bank, there's no significant modification in the content derived from the reference materials or the body of knowledge. One change that has changed is we've got some new some documents for preparation. One of them is called a Lean Certification Blueprint, and this really just specifies segments of the body of knowledge covered by the specific certification. So there's a blueprint for bronze, a blueprint for silver, and a blueprint for gold, because we understand before we had a breakdown of the body of knowledge and it just had percentages set out aside for the pieces of the body of knowledge that applied to each level. Now we have this blueprint document that gives a little bit more detail for the relevant pieces of the body of knowledge at the specific level. And we also have an essential body of work, which this really describes the tasks conducted by lean professionals at those particular levels. So it helps potential candidates better envision what their role is and assist them in evaluating their readiness for exam by covering specific tasks, projects, things of that nature that we would expect someone at that level to cover. So specifically within the Lean Certification Blueprint, you know, it provides the useful information beyond just the body of knowledge. The body of knowledge is basically small snapshots of items that are considered important within the lean body. While the body of knowledge, it specifies the competencies, topics, and subtopics required by different lean professionals, the blueprint takes us one step further by specifying the segments of the relevant body of knowledge covered by the specific professional certification and provides detail on that level of proficiency expected with the certification. And we start off with terminal learning requirements, these TLOs, and really it just breaks down that body of knowledge, giving you some additional input as to what those pieces mean and how they apply to the specific level. Like in this example, you know, it's describing, you know, the continuous process improvement tools and techniques within work cells is applicable for the bronze professional. Well, what exactly does that mean? Well, a bronze professional, we expect someone at that level to be able to construct flow charts to evaluate workflow, be able to describe the components of flow analysis, understand value stream mapping. So it just gives a little bit of meat behind, you know, what exactly is the proficiency level and the knowledge for a lean bronze professional or a silver professional or gold professional. When it comes to the essential body of work, now it's, instead of having a knowledge base, now we've got a blueprint for each level that says what are the specific tasks that professional should be able to accomplish at that particular level. So in this case, like the bronze essential body of work means that a bronze professional has some sort of experience in their background that demonstrates their use of humility, understanding that those who do the work are best suited to improve the work, and recognize that one's lean learning is never complete. Well, that's at the principle level. We break that down to the processes, to the tools and techniques to say, okay, how do you demonstrate this piece of the body of knowledge through action? And that's what the essential body of work is. It's just to give individuals a better perspective of, hey, you know, I've accomplished this work, or I've accomplished these tasks, so where do I fit best at what level? And to help the individual understand, you know, how do you progress to the next level? What tasks should I be accustomed to performing? So one big question we had to answer before we implemented the changes was how we were going to address candidates currently in the process. The option to continue the program as applied for those currently in the process, you can continue it based off the old format, or you have the choice to migrate to the evolved program. And this is really for those individuals that have that are in progress, that have applied for that have taken the exam and are getting ready to write their portfolio. So you have the chance to convert to this portfolio format or the accommodation record if you're at the silver level. Of course, if you're in transition between the knowledge certificate at the bronze level, you have a choice. You can fill out a portfolio for 5 projects and a reflection or 3 projects and a reflection. I'm pretty sure what everyone's going to choose to utilize, but the choice is there. At least the choice is out there. The only exception to this is a candidate that has submitted a portfolio and is in the middle of a rewrite of that portfolio. We must adhere to the original because it's just, in the long run, it's easier to gauge whether or not the feedback from the original submission of the portfolio and the rewrite, that it's just easier to evaluate within that process. And they must continue on within that path. So the other aspect is if someone currently holds a lean certification, they're going to remain at that certification level. The levels themselves really don't change. But for someone at bronze who was going to take the entire journey, now instead of them having to go through the silver level to proceed to gold, they can make that leap to the gold level. Now, as for the pricing of the certification has changed. We still have discounts for whether or not you're a member of one of the Alliance organizations, and that includes ASQ membership. And there's also the same discounts for online versus a manual or pencil exam. The difference in pricing compared to what it was originally is just put it more in line with the cost structures that's out there with certifications as it was. So that's been the most significant change as far as pricing is concerned. Now, I realize I went through a number of different changes that concludes my presentation or my portion of the webinar, because I wanted to give you, the attendees, time to ask any specific questions that you may have. So again, thank you, Paul. Thank you, attendees and LSD, for the opportunity to communicate back to the division. At this time, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you, Paul. And if there's any specific questions or comments, again, I'd much rather answer specific questions and then maybe having too much time spent on presenting the material and not answering important questions for you guys.
Thanks, Chad. That was a great review. I do have several questions, but I just want to encourage everybody, send questions, put them in your question box, and we'll get them answered. There was one actually that was fascinating to me. Do you have any idea how many people have taken and passed certification exams? I mean, do you even have a ballpark? How many lean, bronze, silver, just roughly?
Yeah, as probably you would expect, we're and this is rough ballpark. I know we're in the thousands when it comes to the bronze level. It may be around 5,000 that number to the silver level drops down significantly. We're in, the low hundreds there, and then of course with the gold certification, we're in single digits. So
Hmm.
that's pretty much where it is with the certification process as it stands. Now with the split up of the hierarchy and people being, because one of the main barriers to individuals going after silver or gold was you had to take bronze first. So we've opened that door, and we expect more individuals to obtain their silver and gold certifications because of that previous barrier's been removed.
Okay. And I think you probably really have already asked this, or I should say answered this. Someone asked, when do the changes apply? And that's where you were talking about, it depends on where you are in the process, that all that stuff you were just talking about, right?
That's correct. If you haven't applied, if you're one of these that have been waiting for the changes to go through before you apply, you can apply now and the changes are in place. So as of today, the changes are in place. It was rolled out about I'd say last quarter, maybe first quarter of this year was when the official changes, were applied. So at this point in time, if you're just starting the journey and you're getting ready to take the exam, this new process, that's what you're going to go through. Again, if you are in the middle of the process, it just depends on where you're at in the process. If you have passed the exam and you're ready to fill out a portfolio or accomplishment record, then you have a choice. If you're in the middle of an appeal process or a rewrite of your portfolio, you don't get the choice to change midstream. You have to continue following through with the process, because at that point you're really so close. Why change up all the work that you've done previously?
Okay. Um, this one, and may not be something that you are familiar with, but the question is, who creates the exam, and how are they created? And when I say the exam, I'm sure we're talking about the multiple choice.
Correct. You know what? It's really, for those of you that are familiar with ASQ certifications, really just certifications in general. It's not really that different, so to speak, from how other certifications are created. Now the process is, we've got these reference materials. You saw the books and suggested reading before. So we have that baseline foundation of knowledge, and basically what happens is you get a bunch of individuals together. There might be those on the COA, and it might be members from the Strategic Alliance, the partnering organization. So individuals from ASQ, LED, AME, Shingo, individual volunteers take part, and they create a question bank. And from that question bank, you will rotate those questions in and out of the exam. So with ASQ, you sit down for a certified quality engineer exam. Yourself, you could have one exam, and the person right next to you may have a different one, or I think the way it works is they roll out a different exam each cycle. So every time they give an exam, it's not exactly like the one at the that was previously given. So that's created based off this question bank, and that question bank's just created by volunteers like yourself, me, those in attendance. It's just created by volunteers based off the knowledge that's in the books themselves.
Okay. How do I keep my certification current? Is there any changes with respect to that? And I guess probably even to elaborate on what does it take before, what did it take before, and are there any changes?
No changes have been made to the recertification process. The recertification process remains the same, and again, it's a lot like ASQ's certifications. You have a certain number of credit hours that you have to provide to say, hey, within the last 3 years, I've done this many hours of lean at the bronze level, so to speak. So that the recertification process has not changed. You still have to, read books, you still have to attend webinars, you still have to do certain things like that to prove that you're keeping up with the work associated with being a professional, a lean professional at any given level. So that piece, that process has not changed.
And it's that I'm assuming that information is available when we go out and review the information out on where. I guess that's another question, I suppose. Where is the best source of information?
You know, and I apologize, I should have had that included in my slide, but you can, you know, a number of means. If you Google lean certification, the SME website, so sme.org, has all the lean certification information on their website, and they break it down into the varying levels as well, so they have all the specific information regarding each level, all the documents, preparation documents you need. They've got example questions for the exam, so all of that is on the sme.org website. Under certification, you may have to go to the certification tab, and then there's an option for the lean certification.
Okay. Another question about the portfolio. Who grades the portfolio? I mean, how does that work?
Well, with the portfolio and with the accomplishment record, but I'll concentrate on the portfolio at the bronze level. But what I say applies to the silver level as well. Once an individual passes and achieves bronze certification, so they've gone through the portfolio the exam and the portfolio process. Once they achieve a bronze certification level, they can volunteer to become a portfolio reviewer. So what that entails is there's some training involved, some minor training, because we want to try to take as much subjectivity out of the portfolio reviewing process as possible, because it has the potential to be subjective. So think of it like a Shingo prize examiner or Baldrige prize examiner. You go through some sort of examinee training. Same way with a portfolio reviewer. So once you're a bronze certified professional, you can become a portfolio reviewer, and that means as portfolios are written and submitted, they get submitted to you for a review. We've got review guidelines and a scoring guidelines for the portfolios in the reflection, and you know, the reviewers come back with pass and fail for those individuals. The process after that is, if someone fails on the portfolio, you have the option to rewrite. If you fail again after the rewrite and you still do not think it's correct, you have the option to appeal that. And if you do appeal, then what that does is it goes to members of the Certification Oversight and Appeals Committee, which myself, Tony Manos, Beth Reed, they're the representatives for ASQ. So it basically comes to us that serve on the committee, and we all review it and make the appeal decision at that point in time, evaluating the whole progress of that individual on a case-by-case basis. I hope that answered that person's questions. I hope that if they've got a follow-up question, send it on in.
Okay. Since bronze and gold are not, or I should say bronze, silver, and gold are not successive anymore, does silver and gold imply bronze? Or, I mean, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
No, I understand I understand the question. I mean, just because you have a gold level certification, does it imply you have bronze level knowledge? And you know, as lean professionals, let's think about it this way. Every lean professional starts out at the bronze level in some form or fashion, and you have to progress personally through the lean your own personal lean journey. You start out understanding the tools. You start out understanding the fundamental principles and how to apply that at some sort of strategic work cell level. We don't just jump into a director of lean within an organization right out of having no knowledge and directing organizational change. No, you honestly have to evolve into that role through personal growth. So I would say yes, it does imply that you have at some point in time that knowledge and experience. There's, we'll be honest, there's probably people in that role now that you would never have them go out and facilitate a SMED event or something like that at a work cell level because they have been away and out of practice for so long from that small team, narrow focus application. So I would say the levels really imply where you're at in your personal journey and where you are as a professional and where you best fit as part of organizational change rather than a straight skill set or knowledge set.
Good answer. That makes a lot of sense. Which institute actually supports or I don't know if the word is created or supports or whatever, the lean certification? I'm looking at the slide that you have on there right now. I see ASQ, AME, Shingo, and SME. Is one of the organizations more important in all of that, or?
No, the thing with the alliance is not one it truly is a partnership in the certification. Each one of those partners brings a certain piece of the puzzle that makes the certification successful. Take for instance with ASQ, where is ASQ's real strength, and a lot of the strength with ASQ is providing educational tools, providing training, things of that nature. Well, that's a significant piece, I would say, for lean certification. SME provides a marketing tool that they've had a long experience within their organization for quite some time that's very effective. So they provide that strength with the certification. And then you have Shingo and AME that have their pieces of the puzzle. So each group provides a unique strength to the overall certification, and the alliances work together very hard to distinguish those individual roles within that strategic partnership. So if something comes up and there's a need for a certification, take for instance the ASQ Lean Handbook. That was a good example that derived from the Certification Oversight and Appeals Committee through the Strategic Alliance stating that there was a need, and it was a Strategic Alliance that really decides, well, this ASQ and the certification, but that's really their strength and they should take that piece and run with it. So that's how that function works. It is a partnership, and through that partnership they realize what the strengths are within each organization and where certain projects and where certain strategies fall.
Okay. Would you recommend Six Sigma Black Belt or Lean Bronze?
That's a loaded question.
It is.
Well, I can truly state that I'm a Six Sigma Black Belt and I'm Lean Bronze. It all depends on what your goal is with the certification. That you really have to ask yourself. When I got my black belt certification, I'm a quality engineer through college education. That was my preference area within college, and I went on through the quality ranks within quality engineering, and black belt at that time for me was the right certification because I was dealing with black belt projects and projects of that kind. But then I started getting into roles where I was being I was being an organizational leadership role. I was starting to impact organizational change, and I needed something that was bigger than a Six Sigma footprint. I needed a, an organizational system perspective, and that's really, to me, what Lean brings is the Toyota production system is not just a production system. It's a management system. So I went forward and I went after the Lean certification. Now, listen, that's my 2 cents and that's my personal opinion. The opinions of myself is no reflection on the organizations in which I represent. So I have to make that disclaimer to all those in attendance, because I know, because I remember how I felt as a Six Sigma black belt. I know there's probably some Six Sigma black belts that have a completely different perspective, and it's all on the individual, and it's all based off, you know, how you intend to use the degrees and how, or not degrees, certifications, and how you intend to apply them and utilize them for organizational change. But that's my opinion. I'm not going to pick one certification over the other one, because they're all beneficial if you're taking them and applying them the right way.
Good answer. Very politically correct.
And to be honest, straightforward, I ain't no politician.
We have 2 questions left, so just be sure if you have a question, send it in the question box, and we'll get it answered. This is a really good question here. So, as a hiring manager, what can I reference to know what specific certification means with regards to the skill the applicant is capable of bringing to my team?
That is a good question. I'll do my best to answer this, because we've had discussions like this within the certification oversight and appeals committee. You know what? When someone says you need an ASQ black belt certification or ASQ green belt certification or a certified quality engineer, we pretty much, within the quality function, within the quality industry, we know what those mean. We know what those individual capabilities are. One aspect within Lean is, you know, when you say Lean bronze or Lean silver, it's hard to, we don't have that market or industry standards set like ASQ has done with their certification. So that's not as set and ingrained within industry just yet. So it is more difficult for companies aren't as willing to go out there and put on a job description as a desired skill or desired certification. Hey, this person needs to have a Lean bronze or a silver or gold. So industry hasn't conformed to the Lean certification standard just yet, like they have other ASQ standards. So as a hiring manager, what I do is I go back to I'll go to sme.org and I'll pull the behavior competencies, I'll pull the blueprint, the body of knowledge, the essential body of work document for the level of certification that I'm looking for within an individual. So, you know, if I'm needing someone within an organization that's basically someone that's going to take care of you know, small projects, concentrate on work cells within a value stream, then, you know, I'm going to focus on a bronze level individual. If I'm looking for someone that's going to be like a manufacturing level or a manufacturing manager, that type of level of individual, then I might focus on the silver certification requirements. So that's where I get my information to create job descriptions, to create the leader standard work for those individuals in those job descriptions. So these are the tasks that I expect you to be able to accomplish, or that you have to accomplish day in and day out, week by week, month to month. So is that an answer to that question?
I think so, yeah. And if the person has any clarification, please send something in, and we'll
Right.
Chad can clarify.
Right. That's my intent, and it has been a struggle with the lean certification, just because we haven't established the industry standard as bronze, silver, gold. Now, that's again, this reflects back to one of the strengths with ASQ. Strength with ASQ is the fact that their standard, that their certifications are industry standard. So ASQ, one of the big strengths with ASQ and part of this strategic alliance is ASQ's branding itself as industry standards when it comes to certifications.
Okay. A few slides back, you actually had the images of all of the reference materials for each of the different certifications. Another question, is there any specific prep material? And they talk about the Quality Council of Indiana because they do a lot for the other ASQ certifications. Is there any other prep material that you know of for the lean certifications?
No, there is not. That the slide up on the screen, those books, that's the prep material. It's those books that the questions come from, and every question in the exam is mapped to one of those reference books. So all the questions at the bronze level comes from the 4 books and the supplemental reading.
Now, at the silver and gold level, is there actually a test as well, or?
Silver and gold do have exams as
Okay.
well, and those exams are derived by the reference material for that level.
So same thing mapped to the books that we see right there.
Correct.
Okay.
And again, since the changes, there hasn't been a change to the body of knowledge or those reference books, so the exams themselves have not changed.
Okay. Last question, unless someone submits something here before we are done. Can you describe what a good portfolio looks like? When describing a project, what should I focus on when doing the write-up?
Well, I always reflect back, and unfortunately, the portfolio is actually structured this way. It always falls back on plan, do, check, act. With every project or application, you should have some sort of cycle of planning, doing, checking, and acting, and then and some sort of personal reflection on yourself, your own lean journey. I always, even the individuals I coach and mentor, I always try to push this. Not necessarily what did you learn about lean. What did you learn about yourself? Provide some, what is it about this project that would cause you to change something on the next project? How did it personally influence a person? So this certification is not just about having a base of knowledge or proving that you have some sort of experience, level of expertise. It's about personal growth and your personal journey. It's about your personal development and how you evolve, because like a lean transformation within an organization, it's an evolutionary process. You have to evolve into and learn how to become a lean organization. It's the same thing as a lean professional, a lean leader. You have to learn how to become a lean leader, because the way that we understand typical management and leadership, those practices have been ingrained as part of our culture for so long. It is a different way of thinking, and in order to change our own personal cultures, we have to do it like we would expect an organizational culture. It's a journey, and it's a personal one at that.
Okay. That's actually the last question that we had. Is there anything else that you would like to say, Chad, as we close up? I really appreciate you doing this. Is there any last comments you have?
I do not. The only thing is, as a representative for ASQ, or one of the 3, Beth Reed, Anthony Manos, and myself were the 3 representatives on the committee representing ASQ right now. If you do have any questions or need information or something, please, by all means, either go through the certification value stream within the ASQ LED leadership, or again, I'll throw it out there. My email is chadvincent88@gmail.com, and that's CHADVINCENT 88@gmail.com. Please feel free to send an email asking questions after this or in the future. I mean, part of our job as being on the COA is not only focused on the certification, but part of the benefit is we are invested in those individuals that are going through the certification process. We're invested in your growth as well personally, so we're here to help and answer your questions.
Okay, Chad, I just really appreciate you sharing all your expertise with us, and I appreciate everyone else taking the time. Please plan on coming and listening next month to the Standard Work for Leadership with David Mann. Should be really good stuff. Reminder, this will be available on our YouTube site in a week if you want to review it or look at any of the past webinars. And I just really appreciate everybody doing this, and we're going to sign off for now. And Chad, I will probably talk to you maybe either later today or tomorrow.
Sure thing. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone in attendance, and LED, and especially you, Paul.
I am Paul Harbath, the 2015 chair of the ASQ Lean Enterprise Division webinar series. I want to thank Chad for his excellent presentation, and thank you for listening to Chad Vincent's The Lean Bronze Exam What's New. If you have any questions about the content of this webinar, feel free to contact Chad directly. Next month, our presenter will be David Mann from David Mann Lean Consulting. Leader standard work is the essential element in a lean management system. It's the element in the system that closes the loop on process focus and keeps it closed. After watching this webinar, you will have the basic concepts you need to implement leader standard work at your company. David Mann is the principal of David Mann Lean Consulting. David's Shingo Prize-winning book, Creating a Lean Culture, Tools to Sustain Lean Conversions, has been translated into many languages. The third edition was released in October of 2014. Over 100,000 copies of this field bestseller are in print. The American Society of Quality Lean Enterprise Division webinar series is the place for you to hear the best of the best in the lean industry and learn more about how to apply lean in your application. The American Society of Quality Lean Enterprise Division is a global network of professionals helping individuals and organizations apply proven and leading-edge lean principles and practices to achieve dramatic results for your personal and organizational success. Come lean with us.